What up, guys? This is episode 5 of Roadfries.
Hi, we're here. We're back.
Yes, we're back. Sorry again. So I just want to come out right now and apologize to everybody.
We're sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
I recorded the last episode on my phone in HD because I didn't know better. It made it a huge file. It was like 72 gigs. And I lost it. Yeah.
It's in the ether now.
Yeah, it was. I was editing it on my phone, and I was moving it to my iCloud because it was a huge file. It was taking a lot of space on my phone. So I was trying to move it, and then it got about halfway there, and that was it. And I can't tell you what happened. I can't find it on my phone or anything. It's gone. So this will be the first episode to record on tape.
On
Video recorded.
yeah, this is the first video that
Yes.
will be released, I guess, because we.
Sorry for the hiatus of not recording.
Yeah,
It's been since May, so it's been a month.
Things come up, house stuff comes up, need to be repaired.
Life comes up.
But you know what? I hope you've at least been enjoying this wonderful weather that we've been having.
Yes, I hope you've been enjoying the days off that I'm working because every time I have a day off, it rains.
Yeah.
So, it's nice today.
Yeah, it is nice today.
But yeah. So, it's been up, dude. Long time no talk.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Other than work.
Yeah. Let's want to talk about your truck. We'll get this ball rolling again.
Ah, yes, the truck. She's done. She makes me happy.
She's lowered.
She's not where you'd want it, but everything costs money. So now we wait.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like projects. Like, you want to take and do this and this and this, and you get the first part done, and sometimes you do like the hardest thing first, and it's just so overwhelming that you're just like, ugh, I don't want to look at this for a while.
Yeah, I got kind of burned out, so I just sat there and watched it every day after that. So I just worked out.
And it's the case of, we talked about this the other day, it's the case of while you're there that makes projects unnecessary. Because you're like, oh, while I'm here, I might as well do this. Oh, while we're here, we'll do that. And then it turns into a rabbit hole.
Well, that's like with any project. Like if you're doing like house stuff too, like you're taking out a sink and then you notice, oh, that line should probably be repaired. So why not do it?
Take some of the drywall out next thing you yeah. I know firsthand about that.
It's snowballs.
Yeah.
Snowball effect.
But it's like, oh, I don't want to take and do this, and then 2 months later I have to take apart what I just did to do something else. Then you commit to more project. And all of a sudden, this isn't in my budget.
Well, the thing is that like I'll tell you and it's happened to me a lot, where like you half-ass something, and then you end up paying for it later. If you don't do it right the first time,
you're gonna be back.
You're gonna be back, and then you're gonna be like, why didn't I just do this right the first time? So it's like you almost save yourself a future potential headache in doing it right the first time. So it's like.
But that's the thing is, if you do it right the first time and you spend the extra money to do it, you'll never notice the headache you saved yourself some.
You'll know what you did.
Like, that was stupid that I paid this much for it. I could have got a cheaper one.
The next guy will end up enjoying it more than you will.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
Yeah. Other than that, just enjoying this weather. Glad it's not cold.
I know. I was a little upset when I saw you in pants. I'm like, this is nice shorts weather. It's like
I've been wearing shorts, but today, I put on the jeans and they just felt right. Ladies know what I mean.
You make me sick, dude. It's like perfect out. It's
it is
like
perfect
70
out.
something. What is my wattage say?
Watch.
69. Nice. 69 right now, dude. Good.
I like
That's
that.
the good
It's best
number.
weather. It's a good year too.
Yeah. But that was cool. I didn't expect that. But yeah, so we started watching this show, and it's kind of anxiety inducing, but kind of not at the same time. We've been watching To Catch a Smuggler.
Oh, is it Catch a Predator?
No, not To Catch a Predator.
Exciting.
To Catch a Smuggler. And what it is it shows you like the Border Patrol or the people that work at the airports and how they.
Oh, like TSA and all that.
Yeah, and it shows you like how.
Well, TSA is like the traffic control, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's HSI or something like that. It's like Homeland Security.
Oh yeah.
Something. But yeah, it's wild to think like some of these people that work for them, They can tell if you're smuggling drugs within like your facial expressions and like 2 questions.
Oh, dude, they're good.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Oh my god, I'd hate to have one of them as my parent. Like that would suck growing up. You'd be like, oh my god, I can't get anything.
So what do you got? What do you got in that Twinkie in your hand? It is a crack.
It is one crack cocaine. No, but just how good they are at reading people and stuff like that.
Like, well, the fact that they pull people and like you look at this person and the way they talk and like you wouldn't even suspect that they're smuggling like a couple pounds.
Oh, they got some guy. I mean, it's an older series, so like I think they're on episode like 5 or 6. So like the first ones were pre-COVID, but they're like there was this one guy they got that he had been smuggling drugs through. I think it was like JFK or something before.
That was one of those big ones too. JFK. Yeah.
God, the security in New York was terrible. They never catch anybody. But they found this guy that was smuggling. It might have been Miami, but they got this guy that was smuggling last time, and they didn't catch him because he would board the plane from like Havana or something like that, and he'd fly to Miami.
Havana.
It had to have been Miami.
Havana Unana.
Yes.
Okay, same one.
Havana Unana. And he'd get off the plane and have a bag, but he wouldn't have one getting on. So like somebody at the airport is working to move these drugs, and it was considered a pre-screened bag.
Yeah.
And so they saw him last time leave with a bag or whatever. So he came this time. Like we have him on the flight. He's gonna get off. He's gonna grab a bag. When he grabs a bag, we'll get him.
Oh no.
He gets off, goes to the baggage thing, grabs the bag. As he's walking toward the exit, 2 guys come out. Another guy comes from the side, and they're like, "Come with me."
Oh,
like
man.
the smoothest arrest. Like he didn't even have a chance. He just was like, "Shit."
But I mean, you gotta know once like somebody doing that, like you gotta know once they're like questioning you, it's like the jig is up, bro.
Yeah, and the thing is the bag he grabbed didn't have any drugs on him. Yeah, but he had drugs on him. He also had, I think it was like cocaine like on him.
He was also a mule.
Yeah.
He was also muled up.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, like if you didn't have those drugs on you, you would have got away, because they had no way to prove off the last time. They just had a suspicious alert.
Well, it's like what can you prove? Like, yeah, he did it last time. You kind of caught him.
You caught him, but you didn't catch him.
Like...
So you catch him this time, but he doesn't have anything. Yeah, and then when they were talking to him, he's like, yeah, he doesn't even know where the drugs are. They're supposed to be in there. And I was like, somebody dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
But they're arresting these people at airports with like $500,000-$600,000 worth of drugs.
Well, like I mean, you see how like you don't think like a little bit of amount, like a brick or something like that, like
Yeah, a kilo
of that
Colombian boom boom.
No, Colombian bam bam.
Bam bam, that's what it is. God, I can't even do that right.
Boom, boom.
She threw that up. I know.
Boom boom sounds right.
Well, she threw that quote at me yesterday. Karina threw that quote at me yesterday, and I was like, I know it's from something, but I didn't know. And then so she showed me a clip. I'm like, oh my god, the Talladega Nights.
It is
Yeah.
There's a kilo of American Bam Bam taped underneath.
Yeah, and then he it's Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms. Great movie if you haven't seen it.
I'm a little upset if you haven't seen.
Yeah,
Talladega
don't talk
Nights.
to me if you haven't. Yeah, just kidding. No, you can talk to me. Watch the movie.
Yeah, and so like these guys are like trafficking like
they
thousands
smoke
of dollars,
tons, dude. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, good lord. Like,
well, then you see like the ones where they smuggle
house.
vehicles across the border, and that's even nuts, dude. Like the ones that they fill like actual semis.
Yeah, they pulled this guy after he got off the flight. Dude's in a wheelchair. He's like 80 years old, and he was also coming from Cuba. And they pull him off, and they're like, "We have suspicion that you're smuggling things over the border that you shouldn't be." And one of the tips that they got was the fact that he had a couple bird cages. They're empty.
But I mean, you can see through them, right?
Yeah, but smuggling birds from Jamaica to the United States with certain like finches and stuff, they're like $5,000 a pop.
Oh, so they were bird cages with birds in them.
No, there was nothing in the cage.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, what do you like? You get a little sus about it.
Yeah, but they're like, why are you moving these cages with no birds in them? And then one of the ladies noticed, and
so I'm not allowed to have.
Poor girl, she's like, well, I noticed the bulge in his pants was bigger than normal.
Hey, yo!
I was like, this guy's like 80 years old, but he was like sitting in a wheelchair and he had this like fat bulge. He had like pill bottles with finches stuffed in them, bro.
Oh, he had birds.
Yeah, he had little birds stuffed in his crotch.
Okay, so now
The jig is up. Yeah.
Well, because like you see the bird cages and it's like they're empty. Why are they empty? Well, I'm not allowed to bring birds. Okay.
Yeah, but like
I can bring cages. Why not? And
Why
then-
would you bring cages when you buy cages here? That's
How
just
many-
paying for
How many
flight.
finches can you fit down your pants though?
Well, he had like little pill bottles that had like holes drilled in them so they could breathe, and he had like a finch in each one. And I was like,
how do you keep them from
chirping? I don't know, because like they
Yeah.
weren't making noise in his crotch, but the minute they got him out, you're beep, 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 and they put him in the cage and they're all freaking
That's
out.
so weird.
One of them died.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
well, it died like being fucking self-confinement.
A little bit of swass in there.
God, I know. And I was like,
Some balls.
and so they arrested him, and he had so after everything was said and done with the 4 finches that he had in there, even though one died,
I mean,
like
what's
the
it going-
value of the finch was
That's what I was
like
gonna say. Was it going
$20,000.
What?
Yeah, because each
Oh, it's
one
like
was
a
about
special
$5,000.
one then?
Oh yeah,
Or
each one was
what's
like $5,000, and
a finch run that high? $5,000 for
Yes.
a finch?
a
Are you
specific
high?
finch from
Really?
Yeah, and I was like,
I'm in the wrong business.
and I was
Holy
like,
shit.
this guy's
Finches?
hustling finches. And I guess they're like, well, have you ever done sport? He's like, no. One of the lady cop was like, what happened in 2012? And he kind of went silent. She's like, we know what happened in 2012. He got arrested for the same shit in 2012. And he's 81 years old, and they gave him 12 days in prison.
Some more unusual.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, 12 days in prison to like risk $20,000? That's almost worth it. Like,
Yeah.
in those 12 days, I'm not gonna make $20,000 in my job.
That's weird. Cause I mean, $200. This is the one that says unusual species of can fetch up to $200. A finch. I mean, I don't know. They must have had a special one. Though.
Yeah, but I was just
The
like,
basics. That's crazy though.
yeah, and then like there's these people that will like, there was this one episode where they were in New Zealand, and they had this like crate of like mounted animals from Africa. Like, well, there's nothing illegal about these. These were all like,
Oh, like taxidermy and shit.
yeah, they were taxidermied, but they weren't like animals that are endangered or anything like that. They were normal animals, but
Like-
they have to go through the crate and everything to make sure it's not bringing any bugs over,
Oh, like lice or.
lice or anything that's like invasive species.
Invasive. Yeah.
And they went through it and they're like, oh, we got one, and there was like 2 beetles, and they ruined the entire crate of animals, like the entire like taxidermy crate, and
What do you mean
they like bore into like the hides and stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like they at that point it's like they had to burn the whole.
Well, that's the thing is if it's certain things like taxidermied animals, they'll take and just like fumigate the box.
Like delouse it or something.
Yeah, but where this one like ruined it, like, well, we're gonna like fumigate this box anyways, but
It's gonna
whoever's
ruin
gonna
it.
receive these is gonna be pissed off because these beetles have ruined all this.
Yeah.
It was, like,
at that point,
antelope
it's
and
a
stuff.
loss because it's like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna. I mean, unless you discount it a lot. I don't know.
My
I don't know how
favorite,
taxidermy works.
my favorite one. We'll move on to another subject maybe after this. My favorite one was, it was in like a port in Pennsylvania.
Mm.
And it was in like Philadelphia, and they're like, we get these crates all the time. They're like 20-foot long crates full of bananas from South America. Nothing unusual about that, right?
I love me some bananas. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
But the thing that flagged them was there was 2 20-foot crates of bananas going to the small bodega in New York. And the guy's like, there's no way they're going to move that much product. Like, he was talking like a druggie about bananas. He's like, there's no way a small bodega is going to run 2 20-foot crates of bananas out of like this little store. And so they pulled it aside. Dude, it was like $1.6 million.
Darrow.
$1.6
A lot of
million of, I want to say it was heroin or something. And I was
Ooh.
like, that's a lot of fucking drugs.
That's crazy, dude. Well, it's like a lot of it. It's like, it's like that much because it's like
Not a sponsor.
just
This is the only energy drink I'll drink.
a Formula One team.
They do that Flutog and stuff too. You ever
Yeah.
watch that?
Yeah.
Like a human powered like flying thing, where it's
Mhm.
like you have to be human powered to whoever can fly the farthest. Have you ever watched their downhill thing where they're on like this little go kart?
Those things are scary.
Yeah.
I saw one where it was like a forklift, and it looked like he was backing it.
Oh,
There was
that's
somebody
funny.
underneath driving it straight.
I'm talking.
So, but he was like this the whole time down the thing, and
That'd
I'm
be
like,
scary.
how's
That's
he doing that?
That's a neck injury.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Yeah, dude, Red Bull sponsors the weirdest shit.
Cool, like a lot of cool stuff, like
They have like the plane acrobatic racing or whatever. Then
Yeah.
They do.
or like the downhill bike thing, like bicycle thing.
Oh yeah, where
they
they're
do
in
it
like
to
the
the city.
favelas of like.
Yeah, that's
Brazil.
nuts.
Oh, that's Rio de
They're just
Janeiro.
cooking.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude.
Or like they're the ones that did the guy that landed on a helicopter pad on top of a building on a plane. It
Yeah.
was like the shortest like runway landing.
Mm-hmm.
but like or without a runway, and it was like
He's like,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like the thing was like designed for that. They're called like it's called the Carbon Cub.
yeah. Do they do drone racing too, or was that its own little thing?
That's its own thing.
'Cause-
I remember that watching that with you.
Dude, drone racing was fun, man. I almost
so much
started getting
anxiety
into it.
though.
Oh, it moves so fast. I do not have coordination for that.
And then well, you watch them on camera and it looks insane, and then you watch like the play of like the actual them flying them, and they're like impossible to keep up with
Oh yeah. Do you think
all the time.
fair enough? Do you think with your skills of driving, do you think if you got put into a race car you could hang it all? Like with other professionals? Or do you think you'd be like, let's say you get thrown into like an Indy car where it's not like top of the line like F1, but it's not
still,
like NASCAR where it's like a certain feel for the car.
I think it'd be hard.
Even
because,
go-karting.
like I'd love to drive one, but like competing, like those dudes are like such a different level as far as like responses and like reflexes. Like they have to be, of course.
And they've been doing it their whole life.
Well, and then you watch how hard their brakes are to push, like on Formula One.
They fucking hit your head on the
Well,
dash.
yeah. Well, they say like you can push as hard as you can, but it's like for them to engage, it like takes more than 75% like of the pedal being down. And
Yeah.
most people can't get it down that far.
I was watching a thing and it had Lando Norris, and he had his head hooked up to like a machine, and it showed how like strong their necks are.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude, after like 4 kilograms, he was like going like this. And Lando was just sitting like this, talking with like it was like 45 kilograms hanging off of his head, like on a pulley system. And
Well, I mean, like the G's that they pull, it's like
yeah, they have to,
neck
or else you're-
muscles.
yeah.
Or else you're just like in the seat like this, like.
that would just be wild though.
But I don't think I'd be able to keep up with them unless I was like dedicated to it. But well, I mean, even dedicated to it. Like you see some of these guys that have been racing their whole lives and they can't even crack the top like 30.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I mean, like, not to brag or anything, but I felt like in my prime,
No.
I was pretty good at Gran Turismo.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I can't you can't talk too much crap about that because like they have the dudes that have like went from racing on like the simulators to like
A
race
car.
like Gran Turismo. They have them actually race cars and like they're
Pretty
sometimes
decent.
even better than some of the drivers.
Yeah,
Like,
because like Gran Turismo and Forza, they've gotten those two games so down to the physics that it is like
simulate. Then
like
that's what
Lewis
they're
Hamilton
called.
stuff. They use those to practice
Yeah.
during the off season.
That would be sick to have is a full racing simulator. Well, then
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But then the other thing is that like you watch them. There's like one of those steering wheels, the simulators that they simulate the actual like torque and like the strength that you
Yeah,
need.
and, like, if,
They're, like
like,
full
that-
full response, and
Yeah.
like people turn it up to 100 and it almost like snaps their wrist because it's so much like response.
Yeah, it's too
that's-
much for them.
But that's crazy to have.
Because I remember like we went down that little go kart rabbit hole in our 20s and we're like going.
Yeah, that was fun, dude.
Speed Street.
Yeah. We said the go kart track. It's different though, like because like, when you're with your buddies, it's like it's whatever. But like to compete, it's like you have to have a certain amount of skill to like. You always have to be passing somebody unless you're fast already. But it's like there's always somebody that's gonna be either better than you or like you have to be really good, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it takes
And
a lot.
I feel like in another life, that would have been the path I went down. Like,
That would have been cool to go down.
Oh,
a path
yeah.
Like that. Like you watch
be
some
like
of
a
these
racer.
drivers like like Lewis Hamilton. They have videos of him from when he was like a toddler
Really
racing
wee
cars.
little lad?
Yeah,
And that's why,
really
like,
loud.
Anna's so goddamn coordinated. I'm like, should I? Like, I've thought about it. And I've told Korean, like, should we just get Anna a go kart and see how she goes?
No, bro, just get
Because
her.
she's
like,
already lightweight.
Well, even like once she gets old enough, like a simulator.
Anna's gonna be hands on. I don't think a simulator would work for her. I think she needs to be hands on for a while.
So we build her a go kart. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'd totally feed that fire.
I saw them for sale in KSL.
I know. I've looked at them before. And I'm like, ooh, a go kart.
I've thought about it because they have like the little cheap ones that like Harbor Freight even has them on their catalog.
Yeah.
Just get you one of those, bro. Just let her putt around.
That'd be
She needs a small one though, like, and then you just
to scale.
at that point you have like a track in your backyard and you start naming off the different corners, like the track on Top Gear.
Yeah.
You have like the
Gambon.
Buckingham Palace, bro. You already have one of the corners.
They have like Gambon and
Old lady's house.
old lady's house and all that stuff. Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
cool.
They got like what is it? La Rouge for like Spa and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
That's what I like about like actual racetracks. Like when they become like so infamous, they get like a name for like a corner.
Like certain corners, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude. Because if you think about that, like if I put a racetrack in the backyard, there'd be so much less mowing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There'd be like Buckingham Palace, then you take the straightaway through Swing Set, and then
you take the hard left down the vegetable patch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Carrot Manor.
Carrot
Yeah, just
Manor.
like that would be cool.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
But then you have to make it big enough for us to be able to race in it, because I'd want to go on it.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. Like, Jayla's smart and is coordinated. Aria.
Aria's the one that
She just likes to be there. She's like, I'm just glad I'm involved, guys.
She'll be the one that somehow like solves world hunger without even
hope
trying.
so.
Just doesn't put much effort into it. Just like whatever.
A doctor, an athlete, and then like a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, God, I'd feel like such a good parent.
God,
Like, damn, I did good. We did good, babe.
we'd put you in
We
the
made
lab.
kids successful.
We'd put you in the lab and just start milking you.
What the fuck?
That's what they do,
That's
bro.
only half me. I might not be the good half. I might be the half holding back. It might be all Karina.
You the half holding.
They could have all been Nobel Prize winners if it wasn't for me. But yeah, it's just It would be cool to like have lived like the life of like Lando Norris and stuff like that, or George Russell, where they just grew up having the
I love my life. I love my family. Obviously, you're not saying that.
Yeah.
That you're like wish it was.
No, I just like the not
it was like
thing, but like
the growing up thing, like the nurturing that they had in a different way. That was like towards that, like it was
their families were financially.
Well, I feel the same way when you see
enough to where they could afford these $2,000-$3,000 hobbies for their kids every month.
But that was back then, though. Like you watch these guys that like even dirt bike riders. Like they started off as little kids. Like back then, dude, it wasn't as bad, as expensive as it is now. Now it's like a full-time commitment by like families. I mean, back then it was that too.
Well, that's how you need to be in order to be like.
Well, yeah, but back then it was like more. It was easier to do that on like a one-person income. That was like, take the kids racing every weekend, and like it wasn't that bad. It was like maybe $20 for track day, and then they became sponsored. But now it's like these kids are like. They have to have like their own trailers and like own team basically to do these events, and it's
and even then it's not because like that's like what's required of them. It's like that's what you need to do to hang with the other people.
That's what it takes to hang in those communities, because everybody's seen it. Like you see all these race car drivers and everything. Like all it does is push the families to be like, let's make our own little race car driver. So they commit to it, and it's. Dude, some of that stuff's expensive, but it's like anything, like sports,
Yeah.
These parents that like have their kids going to like these camps where they, they train them and like they do NFL stuff and stuff like that, and like, so it's which is cool, but it's expensive. It's a full commitment when you want your kid to do these things professionally.
And it's even then, like, I don't want to be the parent that's like, oh, I'm like, because this.
Because then it's not fun.
Yeah, I don't want to be the parent that's like, you need to live my childhood dream because I couldn't do it. Like, no, I don't want to be that parent either.
But like, if they end up, that's why like you kind of hope that they fall into something that's gonna lead them towards a successful future.
Yeah.
Like you want them to want it, because it's like if they don't want it, they'll do good only because you want them to do good.
Yeah.
And I feel like. Some of these professional athletes that end up succeeding based off like that, it's because they wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lewis Hamilton was pushed, but he wanted to be good race car driver. Like you hear him talk about it, it's like
his dad would be like, "This is where everybody else breaks. This is where you're gonna break."
And it's stuff like that. Like it's
like elite athletes are on such another level.
Yeah.
Like, do you think like obviously like a race car driver has to have quick reaction timing?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like they have to have quick reaction timing like a hockey player for like catching something.
Yeah.
A hockey player has like quick reaction time for catching something. But do you think you could take and throw something like Lewis Hamilton and he'd be able to just catch it? Just because of the speed and coordination it takes to do that? Or do you think it's just a whole different kind of coordination that
I think because it's like I'd say like a hockey player would have more like hand-eye.
Yeah, hockey it's so hard to like pull something fast on.
But as like a driver, you need hand-eye, yes, but also hand-foot. Like
they have that
or eye-foot. Like
they have that feel that like when you're in a go-kart and you can kind of feel like the car moving you and you
yeah.
become one with the car.
Like,
They
it's
just
weird.
have like extraordinary level of that.
It's weird because I've talked to people about that, like having like that kind of like I don't know, like it's I feel like a car person has more of a connection to their vehicle as far as like you understand what feels right or what doesn't, and like you can I can definitely, especially with this thing now, like I can tell where I need to be on the road. Like you see even like a small groove and you're just like, okay, I gotta be on the left side of it or else I'm gonna feel it more on the tire. Like you're more responsive as far as like how in tune you are with your car like that. Like
yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I feel like other people don't understand.
We've talked about this before too, because like I know there's something wrong with it versus like you think there's something wrong with it, but I'm not reacting. I'm not ignoring it. I just know that that's not a terminal thing.
Also, I tell JC, I'm like, don't worry about it unless I worry about it.
Yeah.
Or driving the Pathfinder with a broken axle that one day.
See, I don't know what that felt like because it didn't break on me.
I drove it. In the words of Jayla, she didn't want to die again.
Again.
Again. Fair enough.
Yeah.
In another life. I was actually telling JC the same thing we were talking about the other day. Where, dude, there's still snow on the mountains.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at that. And I was like, do you think that'll make it to June? Do you think that'll make it to July? Think there's enough up there to make it another 2 weeks?
No, because it's not that hot yet. It's not that hot yet.
Yeah, but like, so you think that will make it
feel
to
like,
June or July? Because some of that's really low, but that's in like the crevices where it only sees sun for like a couple hours a day, and that's just the front side. The back side's probably got a lot more.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't face the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I don't know. That's a good
I've been looking at it the whole time, and I'm like, that might make it to July. Because I remember, I think it was like.
Well, there's a ton of snow on these mountains over here.
Yeah. Those
like these don't even.
That's
I was like, these I can see, but it's like the ones back there. Yeah, they still have tons of mountain
snow.
Tons of mountain up there still.
There's tons of mountain on that snow.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was like 8. There was snow on one of the mountains. There was like a little sliver, but it was enough to be like, oh look, there's still snow up there.
Mm-hmm.
In August on my birthday. And I was like, God damn.
You think that, okay, so that one, I think it'll probably make it to the middle of July.
Y'all think July?
Middle of July.
Okay.
But yes, to July.
Pie and Beer Day?
Pie and Beer Day.
Okay.
That one, I think that one might make it to like August, September.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I honestly
There's
think.
There's tons, dude, up there.
I think that the ones in Salt Lake, because they're higher peaks, I think those will last all year. I think they'll go.
That's wild to think.
Yeah.
That's a good base though for next year.
Because the one with Basin, like that run that they used for the Olympics, that faces northwest, so it doesn't get that much sun anyways. So
not for a long time.
That might honestly make it too. We might just have like a little strip up there that survives. I don't know. It's gonna be fun to see.
Like our own little glacier.
Glacier. Now, if we get a couple years in a row where the snow's not completely melted, that'll be a trip.
That'll be wild to see, like snow
damn.
on top of snow, like just or.
It's like, wow, that's at what point does like a snowpack become a glacier? Like at what point does it's like, okay, it's been up there long enough, it's now considered a glacier? Because a glacier is just like a snowpack that like convenes in a valley, right? And like so like
is that
look that up.
Define glacier.
Yeah. What do we got here?
Slowly moving massive river of ice formed by accumulation of compaction of snow on mountains. Okay, so yeah. So it doesn't need, there's not like a timeline. Basically, if that can make it 365 days.
And then it piles on the next year.
And it piles on and it's still there, then it's a glacier. I thought the definition would be a lot more like
fine-tuned.
Like for more years. Like, after a certain amount of years it becomes a glacier. It's like considered a glacier. Like, but it technically, if that snow up there stays there till next year this time, like if we don't see it completely gone this year before it snows again, then it's a glacier.
No, we'll consider it a glacier. Okay. We've just defined glacier for you people.
You're welcome. We just told you how to make a glacier.
One more thing before we go, because we're looking at Ben Lomond Peak. Last year's treasure hunt was up there.
Oh, we treasure hunting?
Yeah.
My boy.
I'll find it.
He's in
All right. Take care, guys.
See ya.